Now, what's different this time about the Iowa caucus is that it is taking place amid dangerously chilling weather conditions. Well, Monday saw the coldest Iowa caucuses on record, with temperatures dipping 25 to 30 degrees below normal for this time of the year. As voters turn out, braving these extreme temperatures, we show you what's the mood on the ground and what does Iowans expect. Take a listen.
I was not a Trump fan, not thrilled with, his character and such, so I kind of thought at the time I went with the lesser of the two evils, and I do regret that a little bit. I just feel like Biden hasn't been as productive as what I would have liked to have seen, and so therefore I'm now, this year, I am a registered Republican.
When we go and meet with these candidates, we want somebody that's going to get the job done and get it done right. When Trump was in there, he made a lot of promises and he kept most of them. When we look at what's happened at the last administration, we feel like we, as farmers and livestock producers, gone backwards. When we look at things like free trade.
I'm going to try. Yeah. I'm pretty busy with my business. I've got my mind made up. I want them all out of office. Right. I'd like to see more money left here in the States and helping the people that need help than helping the ones. I get it. We need to help everybody, but we can't help everybody if we don't help ourselves first.
I was down to Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis, and I've just come to the conclusion that Trump has faced a rotten situation 4 years or 6 years, it'd be 8 years ago now when he took over. He made significant changes in what went on. I don't think there's another person running that is strong enough to fight the establishment and to get things done.
And to tell us more about the Iowa caucuses, our correspondent Susan Tehrani is joining us live from New York. Hi, Susan. The Iowa caucuses has begun. It is the first contest of the 2024 U.S. presidential elections. Take us through the high-stakes votes today in Iowa and what can we expect?
Well, we actually have breaking news right now. The Iowa caucuses started and is over. Donald Trump overwhelmingly won the support of Iowans with 70% as they braved the cold, went and caucused and made their decision very clear. This was something that Donald Trump actually played down. He said that he was confident that he would win Iowa, but I don't think he himself or his campaign expected such an overwhelming support. Moving forward, despite the fact that Iowa hasn't necessarily always been accurate in predicting the nominee for the presidential election, but Iowans did make clear that their frontrunner is the former president moving forward. So, Ron DeSantis has made clear that he is going to continue to stay in the race from Iowa. He's not going to New Hampshire, which is customary. He's actually going to South Carolina, which is Nikki Haley's home state. So, that kind of signals and signifies that he's concerned about Haley surging in the polls. And after that, he's immediately going to go to New Hampshire as well. Haley still continues to enjoy the support of many. She did manage to get the support of many Iowans, notably those women that were in the urban areas and the suburban areas, but evangelicals, rural Iowans, and many others. 70% is really a knockout number in Iowa. They came out and they caucused for the former president.
Right, Susan, now that Donald Trump has won the Iowa caucuses, what kind of impact will that have in the 2024 presidential elections?
This is something that gives momentum to the former president, especially because it's such an overwhelming support. But the last time a Republican won an Iowa caucus and went to become president of the United States, believe it or not, was George Bush back in the year 2000. And for the Democrats, it was Barack Obama. So, while we can't say that, necessarily it's a done deal, but it does really show where perhaps, the Republican Party for the majority at this point in time stands. And there's a reason why Iowa is number one, because it represents it represents a lot of different sectors of the Republican Party, so to say. And I think it was very important to note that when polls came out right before the caucus, what was more important to Iowans when they went to caucus was immigration and border security, and second came the economy. 2 months ago, you would have asked any Republican what was important to them, any American, they would have put economy on top of border security and immigration. So moving forward, you know, we learn a lot about what's important to primary voters, and I think Iowa really sets the stage for that. It's a learning experience. I think candidates really understand where constituents stand.
Right, Susan, let's just take a step back and help us explain how does the Iowa caucuses actually work?
So caucuses are very different. They're very quirky, actually. You know, first of all, only Republicans can caucus. But what's very interesting is that you may be a Democrat or an independent, and you may be able to switch parties. It's not really a vote, an official government vote, but actually you go to these different churches and, for example, high schools, and there are the, organizations that will basically take your secret ballot. There's no mail-in voting, anything like that. And then and there, these ballots will be counted. It's not official, but again, it's a representation basically of where the party stands. And you know, since the beginning, you know, as long as we can remember, it has been very important. While it doesn't really count as a primary, it is very important for both Democrats and Republicans, and voters take it very seriously.
Right, Susan, thanks very much for joining us here on WION, sharing insights with us on this.